was turning my lights on, I'm sorry.
Okay. Hi, everybody. Welcome to today's National Entrepreneurship Week event. We're going to let everyone get in here into the room. We'll get started in about 2 minutes. Welcome, everybody. As you're joining in, we are going to give it just a few more minutes to let everyone get joined in, and then we will get started with today's National Entrepreneurship Week event. Happy to see that people have their individual names. Funny story, if you joined us yesterday, somehow people were joining in and they all had my name. So we had about 15 Erica Burfields in the room together. And I thought, wow, I've always wanted to clone myself and somehow I have done it today. Feel free to post your name, where you're joining from, maybe the school that you're with or institution, organization in the chat. Welcome, Lisa, Natalia, Annie, Ethan, good to see you guys. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. So today's theme is business tools and resources. So today we're joined by Ibm Skills Build as well as Verizon Small Business Digital Ready. So I'm excited to share with you about some upskilling and reskilling opportunities that will help create a community that fosters collaboration, that prepares entrepreneurs and small business owners to the workforce. So as we get started, I just want to go over a few housekeeping notes. So do use the chat. Please use it for, if you're going to talk to us about like technical problems, you need support that way, use the host and panelist chat. You can just use that drop down menu to select that. And then use the everyone chat for comments, compliments, and smiley faces. I am all about some crowd support there. If you have questions, do post them in the Q&A box. And then we are going to do a poll. And so I have a fun little game to get us kind of thinking about the upskilling, reskilling digital space. So with that, I will launch it. Now it should pop up automatically for you. If not, just click on the polls icon there in your Zoom menu bar. So to get us started, what is this icon? Is it headphones, a boat motor muffler? I don't know if you guys had boats growing up. I grew up on the East Coast, so we had those things you put over the boat when you wanted to turn them on out of the water. Or is it an umbrella? So cast your vote there in the poll window. Awesome. If you're having trouble seeing that poll window, just click on the polls icon there in the Zoom menu bar and cast your vote for what is this icon. Okay, so I'm not seeing anyone casting votes. Will you post in the chat if you're having trouble? Now, panelists, you guys are not able to vote. Oh, it asks you to complete all the responses. Okay, cool. Didn't realize that. We'll go to the next one. All right, so what is this icon? Is it a flag, a printer, or a tractor? Cast your vote for that one. Now this third one, is this a meal tray, a wood chopping block? Oh, a floppy disk. That's funny. I didn't think of that one. Or a no cell phone sign. Awesome. How about this one? Is that the Wi-Fi icon, sound waves, or maybe is it for social distancing? And number 5, is this a weather, cloud services, or does it mean that it's time to recycle? And then the last one, is this a picture of your license? Maybe the profile icon that you would see on some platforms, or does it mean it's a dating app? So cast your vote for all those 6 icons. I hope that it made you laugh a little bit. I thought they were kind of funny. Great, great. Well, thank you so much again for joining us. To kick us off on today's first portion of the webinar, we are going to be talking about IBM Skills Build. Now, through IBM Skills Build, students, educators, job seekers, and the organizations that support them like NACCE can give them access to free digital learning, digital resources, as well as offer support focused on core technology and workplace skills. So NACCE met with IBM and we formed a partnership to bring together 5 member colleges to build a faculty toolkit to support IBM Skills Build. So this is all the things that you would have to figure out on your own: how to get logged in, how to help your students get logged in, all of those things, where to find learning plans and whatnot. And so we're figuring that out for you, so that way you have an easy way to just kind of take the toolkit, plug and play into your classroom, and then be able to utilize the tools and resources that are available on IBM Skills Build. So we brought together Borough of Manhattan College, City College of San Francisco, Hocking College, Houston Community College, and then Tallahassee Community College to help support this work. The toolkit will be available later this spring, and so I'm excited for you guys to be able to use that once we get finished working on it and building it out. But today I'm joined by Rachel Jacobs from Hocking College, as well as Charles from Tallahassee Community College. And I wanted you guys to be able to hear from them, kind of their perspective on why they chose Skills Build, what was exciting to them, what was surprising, and then how they plan to use it in their classroom so that you can help get a better understanding. And then afterwards, we'll dive into the platform a little bit so you can see what is there to get to offer. So Rachel, Charles, I'll get started with you guys. Charles, what attracted you to wanting to be a part of this pilot program, but then also to the platform at large?
Well, because my dean said so. No. I was asked to do this, and when I was researching it, looking into it, I saw that IBM was involved in it. I've worked previously with IBM's educators and their education advocates. And so I'm a real fan of what IBM does on the education side. So I was excited when I saw this. I was like, oh, yes. And I jumped up the opportunity to do it. And it's been a lot of fun.
So Rachel, what was attracted you to either the partnership, the pilot program, or the platform?
So the call for applications came at a really interesting time, because when I got the email, I was teaching a class in Business Excel, and for a class that was meant to be dedicated to like how to use that Microsoft platform, I was surprised at how many students, the class kind of derailed a little bit, and there were so many students that just didn't know how to use their computers in general. So we kind of got off topic from, what was meant to be financial functions and sum function and stuff like that in Excel. And we became like, no, you have to press and hold the FN button on your keyboard if you have a condensed keyboard. And I had to go back and teach them how to do file management and stuff like that. And, for teaching kind of a group of 18, 19-year-old, sometimes 20 students, I was surprised at that kind of like lack of, let's call it digital literacy, I guess is a good terminology for it. But remember just standing in the hallway talking to someone about it. Like, I'm so surprised at how they don't know how to use their computers at this point. And then I got that email to participate in this IBM project to expand digital literacy. I was like, oh, this is perfect. Yeah, let's do this.
Awesome. So is there anything then that surprised you now that we've kind of had the opportunity to dig into the platform? Was there anything that surprised you about it?
As far as the platform itself, there's been kind of a wide array of topics available. So I'm not like a computer teacher per se. I work in our business department. So I teach marketing for the most part, and this Excel class too. So kind of coming at it from a perspective of how do I utilize this in business classes? I used it for topics on motivation and help gathering course materials that way in my sales management class. And, more than what I would have expected coming from, just my background. But there's a lot more on there than just specifically computer dedicated stuff too, which I think is really helpful.
You, Charles, was there anything that surprised you?
I want to echo what Rachel said. There's just a ton of information out there. So I was surprised that there was so much stuff out there, and there's lots of different topics. So there's, again, like Rachel said, there's not just technical things out there. There's a lot of other subjects out there too.
So how are you planning on using it in your classroom or at your school? Charles, you can go first.
Okay. I'm trying to be a good panelist. I want to use it. I want to incorporate some of those top lessons into my class. For example, I'm teaching a Internet of Things class right now, and there's a great lesson about what is Internet of Things, what is IoT. And so I'm going to use that in my first lesson. I'm going to pull it in and link it to my class and use it there. When I also foresee myself using it when I build classes in the future, going out there and looking for information, look for lessons that I can pull in and assign to my students.
Well, Rachel, how do you plan on using it?
I would like to be able to include maybe some pre-work assignments or something like that for the next time I teach Excel, almost like hey, if you don't know how to use your computer, you need to take a look at these resources first so that I can kind of keep my class on task a little bit better. But there's some cool things on this platform for job skills in general, right? So resume building and stuff like that. We have a kind of a first-year seminar class that all of our students on campus are required to take. And part of it is resume building and interview skills and all that good stuff. So I'm working with the folks in our Career Center right now to see if we can include the platform in that class so that more students can kind of get on the platform, take a look at the other resources that are there on top of utilizing the materials for the actual assignment of resume building, which I think will be good.
Use it for onboarding.
Yeah, that's a great option. Mm-hmm. So I think what's really cool and something that I found really surprising as I was digging into the platform is that there are about 20 different badges that are offered. And so you have the opportunity to either, as a faculty member, you can utilize it as a supportive material in your classroom. So as Rachel was saying, for her Excel, supporting that class with those computer skills, or for Charles, kind of supporting the content that he's going to be using. And so you can use pieces of badges, right? Because there's segments that build to a badge. And so you could use maybe just this one piece if you wanted to really dive into that topic. Or what I really love is the option to build on all of that. So while they're coming out of your class, maybe with a credit towards a degree or to a certification, they can also be earning that badge, which is industry recognized. And I think IBM has just that industry legacy that's created of just quality company and content and products. And so to be able to send your students and your learners out of your class with their degree, with their certification, but also extra things that they can utilize on their resume and on their LinkedIn profile to help support their next step in their career journey, whether it is becoming an employee or becoming an entrepreneur, starting a small business. Those are really good skills that are needed in order to support that journey. So I'm excited to introduce Jennifer. She is from IBM, and I wanted just to kind of turn it over to you, Jen, to share a little bit more about the platform if you wanted to dig in and kind of show everybody what is offered there.
Absolutely. Thank you, Erica. And hi, everyone. As Erica mentioned, I'm Jen Lucia. I'm the Global Education Strategist Lead at IBM. And prior to IBM, I was actually an educator for 6 years. I taught high school with Teach for America in Miami, Florida, and then came back to New York, where I'm from, and taught in Brooklyn for a number of years before coming to IBM. And I'm really excited to kind of dive a little bit deep into the platform, but I also wanted to kind of like set the scene a little bit about how SkillsBuild came to be and how it kind of fits into, you know, not only our corporate social responsibility initiative, where we're really focused on giving back to the community, but also how it fits into kind of our company's goals at large as well. So, you know, IBM committed to skilling 30 million people by 2030. And I think what's really exciting, to Rachel and Charles' point, it's not necessarily in a particular subject or domain. So, you know, we have committed to skilling 150,000 people in cybersecurity, but in the grand scheme of that 30 million number, that's a really small drop in the bucket, because we understand that education and education programs are not uniformed in the US, and therefore we have to have flexibility in order to make this work for different types of academic institutions across the US. So, you know, at IBM, we believe that entry-level tech requires skills, not just the four-year degree or higher degrees. So as many of you know, IBM launched or created P-Tech in 2010, 2011. But what we learned from that is, in order to really kind of keep up with the changing demand of industry and really reach a large volume of students, we needed to kind of think through additional resources that can provide, you know, quick learning incentives or opportunities for learners that aren't necessarily privy to a P-Tech school. So therefore, SkillsBuild was created. So SkillsBuild offers, you know, free courses through industry recognized badges, certifications, third-party content providers. We also have a lot of wraparound services like mentoring and coaching and project-based learning, because we understand it's not all about the content. There also has to be, you know, really strong either capstones or some sort of hands-on applied learning if we're really going to support, you know, learners on a different trajectory. And our goal really is to get those learners exposed and acquired to as many entry-level skills that are needed for employment. So as Erica mentioned and Rachel and Charles mentioned, I think what's great about SkillsBuild is it's really an enrichment ad. So we're looking to kind of, you know, layer on to all the amazing things that you already do. So it could be, for example, on the academic side, and they could walk away with a certification or an industry recognized badge, for example, in cybersecurity. Or we work with a lot of academic institutions and their non-credit bearing workforce development programs, where the state kind of mandates, hey, these are open jobs in our local ecosystem. Can you help us make sure that, you know, we're putting front really strong candidates? So, you know, we work through different competencies and skill mapping to make sure that the specific pathway makes sense, again, to the individual user. So just really quickly before I show you this platform, because I do know this gets a little tricky, as Erica mentioned, NACCE is one of our partners. So you all will have the access to the full, beautiful breadth that SkillsBuild offers. But just really quickly, SkillsBuild is an umbrella for kind of different pockets of where a learner would start. So under the SkillsBuild umbrella, we have SkillsBuild for students, that's geared towards high school students. Then we have SkillsBuild for educators, that's geared towards high school teachers. And then we have SkillsBuild for job seekers, where that's really kind of that sweet spot for 18 and above. And it's just really, you know, the type of content and then specifically the learning plans that are designed are really great for community college, four-year universities, or really adult learners that are looking to reskill or upskill for an entry-level job. So with that, I'm going to show you the SkillsBuild for job seekers, the partnership version. And it just because of timing, I'm going to show you a couple of really great kind of wraparound, or I'm sorry, features. And then I really want to focus on maybe just one kind of pathway so that you can kind of get an understanding of what it would be like. And with that, I'm going to share my screen.
Awesome. As you're pulling that up, I'll just shout out that in one of our monthly meetings, this last one, we had talked about different ways to use it. And so some people like Charles and Rachel were talking about using it in the classroom or as pre-work, but then also as extra credit. And what I love is that as an educator, you can make assignments to your learners. So you can say, hey, you've got to do this one thing. But like Jen said, they have access to everything else. So if they wanted to go in and earn a badge in cybersecurity, they could do that on their own time and be able to have that really valuable credential and badge outside of what you're utilizing it for.
Exactly. We really wanted to make sure that, you know, I think it's sometimes a hard balance to fit, right? Even though our target audience are students, ideally it's the educators, right? So the faculty and the teachers that are going to be supporting those students. So we really wanted to make sure that the faculty and the teachers felt empowered to make this fit and to make choices what's best for their students. So to Erica's point, there's so many different ways, and I guess that's a double-edged sword, right? Because it is really overwhelming because your options are really endless, but at the same time, we didn't want to, put educators into a box, because we all know, education can't be boxed in terms of how you're teaching different, facets of the population. So with that, like I said, and Erica, please feel free to kind of like stop me if there's a specific question in the chat or something that somebody wants to see. But just for time's sake, I'm just going to focus on one pathway and a couple of really great tools and features. So what you're seeing right now is the Skills Build for Job Seekers homepage as a student or a learner. So you would always, be able to kind of search through the toolbar, which becomes super overwhelming. I actually don't recommend that unless you're looking for something really specific. And then we always kind of say, the best place to start is this career assessment. And with the career assessment, we partnered with My Inner Genius, and we have a couple of different versions of this. So let's say you are a student that is kind of understanding, you're interested in some sort of technology, or maybe it's kind of like project management marketing, but you understand technology, influences your future career and you don't really know where to start. This is a great way where, for example, you could integrate it into a class. So we created like a 10 to 15 minute quick version. Or you can do the full length, which is 45 to 60 minutes. And it basically just walks you through different questions. It has nothing to do with prior knowledge, to kind of help you as a learner understand what you're naturally good at, where you should start in terms of the content, and what you should start in terms of exploring. So kind of really quickly, I told you all that I was a former educator. When I took this quiz, it was really interesting to see my two main career fields was data analyst, which makes sense because teachers deal with so much data and decision making and data visualization all the time. And then the second was project management. Also makes sense because as a teacher, you're constantly, having to kind of navigate the different projects and making sure that it fit into a larger portfolio. So again, this is completely free to all users. We partnered with My Inner Genius to make sure that the assessments align specifically to the content piece. And then some of the wraparound services that would be available, we are working actually on it right now, so it's not on the site, but under recommendations, you'll see learning, badges, paths, programs, resources, and then you have kind of these related sites. We have Explore channels, we have the career assessment, and then there's also going to be Explore mentoring. So IBM is committed to providing mentors to all of our Skills Build for job seekers partners so that your individual learners have access to an industry professional and they'll safely be able to communicate via email about maybe it's job preparation, mock interview, resume tips. It could be, specific questions about, hey, SkillsBuild has all of these different certifications and badges in cybersecurity. I don't have time for that. Where should I start? What do you recommend? What did you have to do? Are there other kind of, skills, knowledge, experiences that I should be searching? So it's really kind of putting, the curiosity back in learning to really kind of help the individual understand what am I interested in? What do I need to know? And kind of start to help them self-advocate. And what I want to do just really quickly is show you an example of one pathway. So as you can see through the site, we're going to have multiple pathways that IBM have curated. And the way that we did this is we work with labor market data from Burning Glass, our competencies, subject matter experts to kind of align specific pathways. We're still always working and revising to make sure that this is the best content and updated skills for our learners on the platform. And to Erica's point earlier, we really focus on base and professional skills, which is really those, advocacy, curiosity, collaboration, because those skills are unanimous across any career pathway. So you'll always get, for example, this would be our bundle of all the different digital foundation badges that are available. And then I just want to show one example in cybersecurity, which I think I pre-populated. Yes, I did. Perfect. So what we've done with our bundles is we've done kind of three big things, right? We always start off with the role of the specific professional, and we focus on the competencies that are required. Those competencies are across all of our labor market data that we've gathered through entry-level job opportunities, whether that's through Burning Glass, our subject matter experts, our new collar competencies, as well as our national hiring partner with Manpower. So then you scroll down a little bit, and every single learning plan has the core skills, the professional skills, and the essential skills. The professional and essential skills will never change. Those are kind of the same skills no matter what career path you walk down. And then the core skills is ultimately what that learner would want to put on their resume, that they're going to want to talk about in an interview. Because again, kind of going back to teaching, a lot of times I worked with seniors last 3 years, and a lot of times they would come to me and they're like, I don't really understand how to communicate what I've learned in your class, but I know I've done some really phenomenal projects and I know I've learned a lot. These are the specific skills that you can say, hey, you just sat through my, for example, class and intro to cybersecurity, and you earned this specific badge. These are the specific, core skills that an entry-level job opportunity probably is going to want to hear you talk about, and that you should think about experiences and elaborate on. So it kind of really helps the conversation between the student, the teacher, or even just the student kind of understand what they're learning. And then as you scroll down, we always try to feature a cybersecurity professional, an entry-level professional in this particular career path, and what they do, why they like the job, challenges, etc. Again, this is more just so the student can kind of really understand, do I identify with this? Does this sound something that I'm really interested in? Do I want to take time to walk down this path? And then at the bottom of it, you'll always get the specific content. And the content is really interesting because it completely differs in terms of how it's structured, the amount of time, the types of assessments based on the provider. So this is where this gets a little overwhelming and complicated. IBM has IBM owned content. That's the same content I would take from my IBM Think 40, commercial Your Learning content. We've repurposed it to fit for free on the SkillsBuild platform. But we also have other content providers such as Coursera, such as Udemy, such as Fortinet, Red Hat. All of those also sit on our platform. We also have kind of shorter ones where it might be, an 8-minute, very high overview from Corp Academy. Again, all of that sits on our platform. So this particular bundle, what we did is our subject matter experts said, this is a good pathway for an entry-level cybersecurity analyst. Start here. So you would earn the IBM badge. This is the specific learning. You'll also see that, scroll down a little bit here, it's in different languages. So it's not only offered in English, but not every single badge potentially is offered in all the different languages. So we do have, many different languages offered as well, since it is a global platform. And then, once you complete the learning, it'll track it in the system, and then you move on to the next one per se. And we also, again, for this particular example, have the Fortinet cybersecurity certifications that are available. So it's a really kind of starting point to have the conversation around, what do I want my students to learn that will, benefit them not only in my classroom, but in their next step, whether that's continuing their education or getting a job.
Thank you so much. So I'm going to post in the chat, NACCE has an umbrella, and so if you want to join under the NACCE umbrella, just hop over to nacce.com/IBM, and there's a little form that says get more information. So just click on that, put your name and email in there, and then I will follow up with some more information. So thank you so much to Jen, Charles, and Rachel. So I do want to just shout out, Paul posted, do learning tools translate or aid in English language learners?
Really great question. I would say in terms of an ESL, no, we have the same badge potentially in their native language, but in terms of aiding in an ESL course, I would say the English courses are meant for, a native English speaking learner, and then Spanish, Portuguese, Japanese, etc. Again, it would just be their primary language. Totally up to you how you potentially would want to kind of play that into a curriculum for an ESL student. But again, I would not recommend it aiding in a second language.
So yeah, so if you want more information, Paul, hop over to nacce.com/IBM, and I'll make sure to follow up with you. So thank you again to everyone that hopped on for the IBM Skills Build segment. So now we're going to transition over to some different business tools and resources. So we featured that one, and now we're going to hop over to Verizon Small Business Digital Ready. And with that, I am going to transfer over. Just let me do some quick adminning. There we go. Awesome. All right. So I am joined by my friend Joanne and Tyler. Now I have to tell you guys, everyone on the webinar, we have monthly partner meetings, and Joanne typically is like rocking with the music. We're all dancing. So if you ever need to pick me up, you can just reach out to Joanne and say, hey, can you play me some music? So I love getting to have meetings with her for that. So Verizon Small Business Digital Ready is a platform that is kind of similar to IBM Skills Build. I think of it more in that digital ready space for tools that business owners, entrepreneurs need to run their everyday business. So thinking of website, finances, digital, social media, email, those types of things. So it was created by small business owners with personalized experiences for those resources, networking, and coaching tailored to their specific needs. Now, personally, I was a business owner before joining the NACCE team, and I really liked when I got onto the Digital Ready platform, I really liked that it showed me estimated completion time for the courses. Most of them were an hour or less. And honestly, the ones that I took typically took me less than that time. So when I was busy juggling all the things, I was able to fit in courses like search engine optimization or understanding business finance, or like how to actually make money in my business in the chunks of time that fit my schedule. So kind of coming from my role at NACCE, I love that Verizon Small Business Digital Ready also puts together events for the entrepreneur, the business owner, the user on there, like social media templates or how to drive more traffic to your website, to give entrepreneurs the how to do all of the thing. And so we're going to take a few minutes. I have my friend Jacqueline here. She is a digital ready user, but also a NACCE community member from Brookdale Community College. And so we're going to talk a little bit with her, and then we'll dive into what the platform looks like. Now, do stay around, because at the end of this, we're giving away $5,000. And I'm going to tell everyone how you can earn a free ticket to Makeshift as a virtual attendee. So stick around, because you don't want to miss those two things. So to get us kicked off, Jacqueline, I would love to hear from you, just kind of what attracted you to Verizon Small Business Digital Ready, maybe something that surprised you, and then how you plan to use it with your people.
Hey, hi, Erica. Nice
Hi.
to be on. Hi, you know what? Give me a moment. I'm just gonna switch my background because of my gray hair, which I love, and the lighting in my office. I don't know if this is gonna make it better or worse, but I think it makes it a little better when I put on my virtual background from work. I think the light, I'm telling you, wrong light. You know, when I'm not at home, I have a better light at home. But hi, everyone. Anyway, so what attracted me to the whole Verizon digital piece is, so you can tell, I run the Small Business Development Center at Brookdale Community College, and it's really important for me to educate. I gotta turn off my heater, it's not making noise in the background. So it's important for me to make sure that our business community is really well versed in using digital tools. And because of that, it's important for me to, one, educate myself, because I am an entrepreneur. So I do have what I call my side hustle. So I like to make sure that I'm always on top of what's going on. And I'm also an educator, because I do teach at Brookdale, the entrepreneurship course. So I'm always drawn to what's new, what's going on, and how to use tools to make just life easier for the business community. And you'd be surprised how many mom and pops are still, you know, kind of, I hate to say behind the times, but are not with the fourth industrial revolution, trying to see how technology can make life easier for them. So by being part of this, the whole digital piece of it, and say, look, it's easier than you think. And by trying to engage them to participate, and, you know, it was a piece that I decided to make sure that it went out in our weekly announcements to engage them to participate. We had a contest going on. We didn't win, but hey, but to get them to engage and to see what were the different tools, how they could participate in the courses, how they could learn on their own time was key. Because with every tool that they can use to improve their website, I mean, when you look at your own website, anything that you use, your website is always working for you 24/7. So anything that you can do to enhance it, what a wonderful thing. So the more you know about it, the more you could get it to work on its own. Hey, why not? You're in small business. Why would you not want to do that for yourself? And then the course that I'm teaching right now this semester is entrepreneurship. One of the projects that my students have to do is create their own website. So as we're going into that phase of the classwork for them, they have, which I'm going to show them within the next couple of weeks, is the whole section that it has about creating your website, the different tools that Verizon has to offer them. And by participating in this, they'll see what the resources are and how they could go about creating their own website and how easy it is for them to do it. Because years ago, I've been around for quite a bit. I remember when it was so difficult even to put up your website. What are the things that you had to look at? You know, search engine optimization, you would say that and people would be like, what are you talking about? Or they would try these crazy tricks instead of, you know, thinking, you know, keyword rich, what do you mean by that? What is it that I have to do? How do I tag my pictures? You know, how do I make it work? And believe it or not, now with the tools and the resources being there, it makes it so much easier for them. So by engaging and participating in this, not only am I educating myself, it gives me an opportunity to educate the communities that I'm involved in. So it's not just at the college, but it's also in the business communities that I serve. So for me, it's a win-win all around. And like I said, I have my side hustle also. So that being part of it is like, yep, here we go. So yep, that's pretty much it.
Love it. I love it. I like that digital ready makes the scary not so scary. Right? Technology often feels scary. Websites, social media campaigns, like those things that are really good tools, they can feel scary, like you said, for those business owners that you support that maybe are not up to, you know, maybe they're not quite up to digital ready speed. It makes it a lot less scary. So I do want to also shout out Tyler Patterson. He's from the Verizon Small Business Digital Ready team. Tyler answers all of my emails and I love you so much. So with that, Joanne, I'm going to turn it over to you to kind of kick us off and show us a little bit more about Digital Ready.
Thank you so much, Erica. I do miss playing music for us all, but it's okay. We've made it work with or without music. So we give me a minute. Let me make sure that, okay. Okay, confirm. You can see my screen. Oops. And I am going to start sharing. So I am from Next Street. Next Street is the organization that is sort of like program managing the Verizon Small Business Digital Ready program on behalf of Verizon. And Next Street's mission is, and you do not have to read every word here, the key is that we mobilize capital, customers, and capabilities to small businesses. We're all about small businesses, especially those who have been systematically left behind. So I'm going to jump into what Verizon Small Business Digital Ready is. This is really the summary of it all. The entire reason why Verizon Small Business Digital Ready exists is to provide, we have an ambitious goal of 1 million small businesses with the digital resources that they need by 2030 to be able to move them forward. because just like Jacqueline said, I mean, your website can work for you. You don't have to be the only one working in your organization. I mean, in your small business, there's other tools and resources that can work for you. And so that's where Verizon Small Business Digital Ready does come in, and it is led by the Citizen Verizon team. So I'm sounding very abstract probably, because I need to show you a little bit of exactly what Small Business Digital Ready is in the eyes of the most important people in our lives, which is the small businesses themselves. So I am going to hope and pray that you do get sound on this. And
So my name is Samantha Berg. I go by Sam. I'm a managing partner at NACCE, which is a firm focused on mobilizing capital, customers, and capabilities to small businesses. I am also an entrepreneur and a small business owner. I have the pleasure of being the relationship manager on the Verizon account, and we are helping in conjunction with LISC and Verizon build out Small Business Digital Ready. So Verizon Small Business Digital Ready is comprised of 4 different components: curriculum, coaching, community, as well as incentives for small business owners, particularly those business owners who are people of color. We've had incredible success over the past 4 months since we've launched the platform in terms of not only users adopting the platform, but also engaging with our curriculum, our coaching, our community, and our incentives. Great example is Viestra Good. She runs Boomer's Catering. She used the platform really to build her confidence in her business and grow. And she's had incredible success with the tools that we've given her and booked her catering really through 2022. Incredible story. In just 4 months, we have over 40,000 users who've been recommended a course. 76% of our users are BIPOC, 59% are Black owned, 54% are women owned. And as of today, we have nearly 47,000 completed courses. Based on our recent survey, 73% of small businesses surveyed rated Verizon Small Business Digital Ready's ease of use at least an 8 out of 10. 90% of small businesses surveyed said they like that Verizon Business Digital Ready's courses are self-paced. More than 10,000 people have told us the resources provided will help their business. That's 99% of those who answered the survey. So Anwar D runs an Atlanta-based music festival. He found Digital Ready because of the grant application, but stayed for the courses. He said, that led me into getting into it. Oh my God, there's courses for everything. He's taken 10 digital courses, including digital marketing, which led him to start an email marketing campaign where he sold 1,000 tickets. That was insane. We were shook, he said. My favorite feature of the platform is actually the curriculum. I really like that it's self-directed. And one of my favorite courses is Keep Your Credit in Good Shape: How to Use It, Not Lose It. Kara Stevens' course, where she talks about separating your business and personal credit. It's just something I haven't done, but she really makes the case for building that business credit. So what am I excited about for the future of Verizon Small Business Digital Ready? I'm super excited about the new curricula that's going to be coming on shortly. I'm also really excited about the expansion of our community, our coaching offerings, and our incentives. And I'm most excited about the users and the clients and the small businesses and entrepreneurs that we hear from. Those personal stories are what get me going in the morning. To our Verizon Small Business Digital Ready partners, thank you so much for your participation in this platform. We are honored to be working alongside of you and look forward to what's to come.
So this is odd, but there's actually another video that I meant to actually share with you, which is from the actual small businesses themselves. Yes, I am slightly embarrassed, but either way, embarrassment's a good thing, right? You realize that I am human. Tyler is going to help me find that video so that we can, he can share his screen. But then in the meantime, the video that I shared with you already went a little bit into the, thank you, Annalise. I love that video, okay. But in the meantime, I am just going to take us a little bit through the actual, the aspects that you were shown, which is a tour of the Verizon Small Business Digital Ready. So let's assume that I am signing up for Verizon Small Business Digital. Oops, what is this? It's not showing what I needed to show. Sorry, guys. It's taking me straight to the video section. So let's say my name is Cindy and I want to sign up for Verizon Small Business Digital Ready. I heard it through a NACCE advert which went out, and so I follow the link, I download whatever I need to download, and I go. Okay, so yeah, there can't be a Zoom meeting without a little bit of technical cha-cha-cha, so there we go. Okay, please tell me we're now good.
I see your slides.
Okay, great. So this is a small tour. Once you come in, so one of the core components of the Verizon Small Business Digital Ready is that it is personalized. It's personalized to your needs. So once you come in, there's a fairly heavy onboarding questionnaire that it's about 10 questions, maybe 8, which you do go through, and it asks you questions like where your business is located, your age, your annual revenue, what groups you identify with, what areas of growth you're interested in, simply because on the back end, the plan is to really sort of like front content that you prefer more. You know, for example, if you say you'd like to learn more about finance, you know, if that's like a main thing for you, then you'll find Verizon Small Business Digital Ready fronting more of finance related courses for you. So after the onboarding, you will then gain access to the learning dashboard, and you're going to see something like this. And so the program is basically divided into about 4 different pillars. So the first is the most obvious one, which is the actual courses themselves. And you will find the courses looking something like this. They are bite-sized and they are self-paced, and it'll give you an idea of how much time you need to go through it. And so this is an example of Cindy going through the course, you know, pre-work, like it's really built in to sort of like accommodate a small businesses time poor context, you know, and just really pack it in for them within a few minutes, or I do not believe there is any which actually goes on for hours. And then you've taken the courses, you've loved it, but that's not all that you have. You also have access to Ask the Expert. You have access to mentors whom you can connect with. You also have access to coaching events, which you can register for. And I'm happy to give you a bit of a screen share so you can see a bit of that live. Oops, that's it. Oh, okay. I guess I'm going to go in live then and show you the actual screen. I'm logged in to my Verizon Small Business Digital Ready, and I just want to show you a little bit of what I am talking about so I can make it a bit more concrete. Okay, now I am sharing my whole screen. All right, are we good? Can we see?
I can see you are on the Digital Ready homepage.
Okay, great. So this is the actual Digital Ready homepage. So we've talked a lot about the courses. These are some of the courses, and the recommendations here are really based upon the onboarding questions that you filled. And, you know, this is it trying to front topics that you're interested in. As you can see, I clicked everything because I just wanted to learn everything, but the learner doesn't have to do that. Now I'm going to enter into the coaching section here, which is a bit unique because most programs stop purely at the course side, but we've built in the ability for you to be able to connect with the experts in different ways, whether it's a live event, whether that's an actual Ask the Expert event where it's a 1 hour, ask me anything type of session. And then there's also office hours, which is really connecting with the subject matter experts and those who've actually helped deliver the content itself. And then there is a community. So let's say, based upon what I felt, like I said, the operational word is personalized. If I am, I'd like identify more with the Blacks or the women, I can get in there and I can, okay, opening up. I can start chatting with, different members within here. And then you go right here back to my learning plan. It's fairly easy to navigate. And then you can go to the incentive section. Now, incentives, the grant, which Erica spoke about, was one of the incentives. Other incentives for 2022 are being added in here, but they include things like, discounts to different products, or they can include free trials and that sort of thing. And yeah, that is the walkthrough of the Verizon Small Business Digital Ready. And I'll stop sharing my screen now.
Awesome. Okay. So now I got to get all my stuff back in order.
Yes, you do. And then I get a chance to look at the chat box and see if there's any questions.
I don't see any in there yet, but I would encourage you if you have questions about it. So you guys heard me and Jacqueline both talking about some of the content that was on there. For me, and I said this earlier, it made the scary unscary. So specifically the search engine optimization, that course just keeps sticking out to me because that feels like a very, scary thing. And so I would love to know if you'll post in the chat for those of you that are in the room with us, how would you use this? What would be something of interest to you? Is there maybe an area that it feels scary to you, whether that is, building out a social media campaign or maybe receiving that coaching. So William shared in the chat, I run an early stage business incubator with programs at K-12, college, and adult communities. That's a lot. How do you see these programs fitting into the entrepreneurship spaces? Is first question. And then second question, is there a program that offers an overview of these platforms for aspiring entrepreneurs? So plugging into the NACCE community, you're able to access all of these tools and resources, and you can actually connect with somebody like Katie Gales here on the NACCE team, who is our new Senior Director of Membership and DEI&B, who can do a strategy session with you to identify places that you can plug in NACCE tools and resources. So I'll just leave that plug there. Katie, I think that you are here in the room. If you'll post your email in the chat, William, you'd be able to follow up with her. Circling back to the first question, how do you fit these programs into entrepreneurship spaces? So Joanne, thinking about that K-12, college, and adult community, what would be good ways to plug them in?
First of all, I would like to say that this is not meant to be an additional sort of like task to what you are already doing. Ideally, it should be complementary. They should be able to, work hand in hand with what you are doing. So at a baseline, like because I'm sure you would have done some sort of like audit to see, the needs of, for example, the K-12, the college and the adult communities. I'm sure they're varying, but you'd have an understanding of what are some of those gaps and how can I fill those gaps? So assuming that you already have a program, which is like sort of like trying to meet them at their point of need, this could be plugged in as a sort of, it could be a session, it could be whether it's a one-off session or whether it's an ongoing type of session. I see multiple facets of, for example, the Verizon Small Business Digital Ready, which can be used to simply complement what you're already doing, which is really you're providing them with, you're an incubator, which means you're actually providing them with, the really DNA of what they need in order to move into business. So I would plug it into what you're already doing, and I wouldn't create it as an additional task.
So Jacqueline, I'm curious, when you were plugging into utilizing the platform, did you meet with people? Did you say, hey, this would just be good because you already knew what they needed? How did that kind of work?
Well, like with my students, I know what they need in order to create like the website. And I went through it and I said, these are the areas that will help them create their website, because they're starting from scratch and I'm teaching them what are the things they need to go in it. When I work with my clients based on what their needs are and what they're looking for, then I go back and I say, these are the resources that can really help you get to where you need to go. Because we're advisors, we don't implement for them, but we do help them create a strategy and say, these are the tools and the resources that will help you get there.
So it's
So
almost a yes
as
and a
Joanne has stated, it's an add-on. It's not, we already have courses, and sometimes we just need those additional resources to help them solidify whatever we're saying. Sometimes, a resource that we have, just they don't quite get it, and then we find another piece that it's the gap that it really helps them understand, and then they're like, oh, I get it now. This simplifies the process. Now I get it. Now I know what I need to do to make it work. There was another piece on understanding, I want to say, their market, and sometimes that's really difficult for people to grasp. And once they understand that they really know who their market is, then they're off and running. Then they're like, wow, now I get it. Now I know how to communicate with them. Now I could really do it. And digitally, wow, it's like the light goes off and you can see it in their eyes, because now their brain is really working. So by using these tools and these resources, going through the modules, and as they're going through it, you could see how they're understanding it and how they're putting it together and making it work for them. So it's in different aspects. I mean, I've run accelerators where I started from pilot, that I was like, okay, we're going to see how this works. I've always had a foundation in terms of certificate programs where it's been an entrepreneurial program, but I've been able to add so many different pieces to it because of programs like this. So I'm good with, let's add on to it. And what is it that we have to take away because it's no longer relevant, and keep on adding with the new things that are coming on. So I use it as an add-on. What else can I do? And sometimes you could create a series right out of it and say, take this, this, and this creates a series, and it really helps you understand the whole concept and how to apply it. Being practical, it's not just about theory, but the whole practical piece out of it.
Love it. I love it. Well, thank you so much to Jacqueline, Joanne, Tyler. Thank you. If you guys have questions, post them in the chat. You can get more information at nacce.com/VSBDR. So it's Verizon Small Business Digital Ready, just the letters. And on there, you can request more information, just like you did for the IBM Skills Build. So moving along to my two big announcements. First, let's give away that $5,000. So as Jacqueline shared, back in October, we started a Digital Ready contest, and that's where NACCE members could join in. You got your unique tracking link, and as long as you had 50 signups or more, you were entered to win. And so whoever had the most was the winner. Now, there were 10 member schools participating. They were racing to the finish line, and I am thrilled to announce a huge congratulations to Hillsborough Community College down in Florida for winning. Yay for them. They are not on the line, but I did get to share that information with them, and they are ecstatic. So that $5,000 will be invested back into their entrepreneurs programs and into the community. So super exciting for them. Now moving on to Makeshift. So this is the way that you can earn a free virtual ticket. Now, virtual tickets are $250. And so this is easy. This is very easy. So it's April 22nd, or 20th through the 22nd. Now we will be in person. This promotion is just for that virtual ticket, but you can earn one free virtual ticket with just 50 signups. So just like Jacqueline did, take and plug it into your accelerator, into your program. You encourage 50 people to sign up onto the platform. They get access to all of those tools and resources. You'll request a, where's my little There you go. Fill out the form on the website there, and that's where I'll get the information so that we can create your unique tracking link so that you can be in this and we're able to track it for you. And you get 50 people on there, you get to come to Makeshift for free. So I am super excited about that. Please do go on there, fill out that form. It is seriously so easy to get some professional development for you, and as well as some professional development for the people that you support. So with that, I am excited and happy that we got to spend some time together, about an hour together, learning about both IBM Skills Build and Verizon Small Business Digital Ready. Do plan to join us tomorrow. So tomorrow at 12 p.m. Eastern, we're talking all things intellectual property and experiential learning, and how those two things interact. So experiential learning is a big conversation right now. A lot of people are trying to understand how to use it and implement it with your learners, but also intellectual property plays a big role in that, and how do you kind of navigate that terrain. So again, thank you to Joanne, Tyler, Jacqueline, Rachel, Charles, and Jen, and to everyone that joined us today. Please do join us tomorrow at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. Thanks again. Have a great day.